Hi, this is guitarist Denis Taaffe, and I'm in Studio B, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Amps and Bargain Bin Gear. Now, I've been looking at 2x12 cabinets, right, for my puny little Fender X2s and some amp heads and things. And a 2x12 seems to be a really good compromise between a 1x12, which is kind of small, and the 4x12, which is gigantic and you can't move it around anywhere, but it sounds so good. So 2x12 is a pretty good compromise. However, I don't know if you've checked out the prices of 2x12 cabinets. My goodness. I mean, they can get up there really quickly and really expensively. Now, I remember back years and years ago, I guess, when I was really first starting to play guitar, really, and I'd been taking lessons and things. And I went to this little music store way out in the boonies. I mean, I wasn't even in my city. It was just a little tiny hole in the wall, if you like. But it was so cool. And back then, cabinets and things were nothing like they are today, price-wise. I mean, it was horrendously cheap, and I remember, well, anyway, so I went there, and for some reason they had some cabinets, and I said, yeah, okay, and they were so darn cheap, it was unbelievable. I think I was still in high school then. It was definitely in the 80s for sure. So, well, I came home with a gigantic Gallium Kruger 4x12. Little did I know that it was actually a part of a bass amp. Hello. I play guitar, but they sold me a freaking bass amp and the little Gallium Kruger bass head. I didn't care. I thought it was cool. It sounded alright. But one of the things that they sold me was a Fender diagonal 2x12 speaker cabinet. It was so cool. It had side handles, and sounded really, really good too. For whatever reason, I think, and it got sold. Okay, so I no longer owned it. I'm not quite sure why. I was going away to school or what have you, In any case, so I sold it, and, well, I've regretted it ever since. I thought, man, if I only had that cabinet now, it'd be awesome. But my goodness, I went around looking at 212 and the prices were just sky high. Holy smokes. And these are for used ones. Well, anyway, I went looking around and so on. And, of course, I went to, all the marketplaces and things. And, well, I ran across, guess what? A 1980 Fender, right, 2x12 diagonal cabinet. Well, now wait a minute, that's just like what I had back in the day. Now, to give you an idea, 1980, I mean, that's an old cabinet. Now, it said that it didn't have the original speakers, which is okay with me. However, they were Fender speakers, and they're just stock speakers out of those little Blues Juniors, you know? I thought, well, that's not so bad, you know? And you've got two of them, you know? So, I mean, that'll definitely handle, 70, 80 watts. And I'm only running, a 15-watt amp into it, really, most of the time. So, I thought, well, that's not so bad. Now, what really attracted me was the price, of course, I mean, we're talking about fully loaded, and when I say loaded, I mean has the two speakers, not just the cabinet, right? It was like $100 or so, something like that. So basically, we're talking about $100 cabinet, okay? Well, $100 cabinet with the speakers, it's got to be crap. Right? It's got to be pure junk. Well, guess what? No. However, I will say this. When I got it, it was really in rough shape. Okay? I mean, there's a hole in the grill cloth. It had this weird kind of gold thing, piping. But it wasn't piping at all. It looked like it was from a picture frame or something. Let me show that to you. It had this kind of stuff right here. See that? I don't know. What is that? Anyway, it was all broken and brittle on the sides and stuff. Anyway. So, I was all excited to get it, especially because, I don't know if it reminds me of my youth, but it kind of replaces that cabinet I wish I would have kept, along with the other gear. But that was one of them for sure, and so to get another one is really great. And anyway, I thought, man, for that price, you just can't go wrong, considering, just one of those speakers. I saw an ad for one of those speakers that's in that cabinet, right? And guess what? They wanted $100 for it, so in other words, I'm basically getting an extra speaker in an entire cabinet. Well, now it's pretty rough. So, man, I went and got it. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing. Here it is. It's a really nice size. And it's actually quite light. I don't think it's MDF at all. I'll double check. It's a closed back cabinet. It's got the metal side handles, which are really nice. I don't know if you can see that. There's the two jacks on the back, so it's a closed back cabinet. The back looks pretty good. Okay. Alright. Now there's a few things. First off, it's incredibly nasty as far as needs a good cleaning, that's for sure. Second thing is, you gotta remember, this thing was made in 1980. My God, it's old. almost as old as I am. Okay, but take a look. Now, it's the front panels really makes it look really crappy, in my opinion. I don't know, it's got this, I don't know what that is. I guess it was supposed to be piping, but it's really cruddy. Held on with 4 screws there, right? Fender logo missing. But here's the bad part. Look at that puppy. Wait, where is it? Look at that. There's a darn hole in the grill cloth. Right? So this may need a new grill cloth. Man, that would really make it look good. I know, we'll see about that. And I'm really not a big fan of this. It really makes it look kind of trashy. So maybe could replace this somehow. In any case, there it is. So, well, first thing, let me just give it a quick cleaning, see where we're at. Okay, now real quick, here's after a really quick cleaning, and I could do a lot better job, but anyway, take a look at that. Tolex is okay. Okay, now here, you know, there's a little rip in the Tolex there on the edges and things, to be expected, I mean, for this old of a cabinet, right? The same thing here, kind of a tear. But it's cleaned up pretty well, I think. I haven't done the back yet. So what I'm doing right now is removing this nasty grill cloth. And let's take a look at it. I have to do that anyway because I've got to rewire the cabinet. Okay. Alright, so I've taken off the grill cloth here. And there you go, it's 2 diagonal speakers. Grill cloth is over here. Yeah, so this can be, I think, worked out pretty well. But man, take a look at that grill cloth. Holy smokes. That's got to be the original. Whew. Pretty nasty, I think. Alright, and down here, let's dust that off. Got a can of duster here. Okay, so maybe I have a can of empty duster here. Hold on, let's try that. Okay, so there's cleaned up, and once you clean up a little, I noticed the wood right here is actual wood. I mean, that's really great. You know, it's not some MDF or anything like that. Wow. Alright, and we'll probably have to get in there and rewire the speakers. Anyway, so that's where we're at right now. I'm not sure what to do about that grill. It'd be fun to replace the grill cloth, you know, try to make it look better, but I heard that's a real difficult procedure to stretch it out. I don't know, we'll see. Might be fun to try. So there's the 2 speakers, they look pretty good. We shall see. Alright, now let's take a look at this thing. I got rid of that, I don't know what that was, from a picture frame or something. It was so brittle it was kind of just breaking off, so I got rid of it. So now we're back to this. Not too shabby, really. Man, if it didn't have that tear in it, I tell you what, I'd consider just keeping it as is, but I think that tear just kind of ruins everything. but it's structurally sound. It's good. And of course, we'll have to take a listen to it, you know. We'll see. Okay, so I got that grill cleaned up as best I can. It's okay. You know, it's just old, man. You know, not much you can do about it. So probably at some point I'm going to change that out. Now, I also cleaned the back, and the back looks really good, I think. I don't know if you can see that, but... And there's that Fender tag. How cool is that? It says Fender products. Right, there it is. Gives a date, 1980. Closed back. Very nice. There's a little white scratch at the bottom right there. But whoop-de-doo, you know. Okay. So I did all that. And not bad, not bad. Alright, now keep in mind, right, that this cabinet has two 8-ohm speakers. And they were wired for 4 ohms. Right? Well, that doesn't work for me at all, really. I just don't want to run my amps at 4 ohms. So I had to rewire the cabinet. However, it was very simple, really. Very simple. Okay, so the wiring was already in there. And it had 4 wires, right? And they had clips on them, so I didn't have to desolder them. And it was wired up for parallel, indeed, right? And 2 8-ohm in parallel is 4 ohms, so that wasn't going to work. But in series, 2 8 ohms gives you 16 ohms, which would be great. That would work for me. So I went ahead and rewired it. And it was very simple. Now, instead of 4 wires, I have 3. Okay, and that's all that series requires. Series wiring. Okay, so listen. I got it wired up for serial. You know, I looked online with a diagram and all that. And I was very, very lucky. Indeed, because I didn't have any spare speaker wire, you know. But luckily I had 4 speaker wires because it was running in parallel, and so, you know, I wired it up in series. I thought, right? And I did, and I tested it with an ohm meter to make sure, you know, I wouldn't blow up my tube amp. So 16 ohm is fine. And sure enough, it was 16 ohm. So basically, I went and so I tried it, right? It sounded terrible. Man, I got ripped. Right? What kind of scam is that guy running? I thought, you know. Not really. You know what I really thought? When I played it, I go, man, I can't believe Fender would make a speaker that bad. Holy smokes, it was so thin and tinny and no low end whatsoever. Well, guess what? I said, I knew right then that I just couldn't possibly have wired it up correctly, right? Because I did expect a little more than that. Not much more, you know, who knows, you know. But I mean, this wasn't even Radio Shack quality sound. It was just sad. Pitiful. So I turned off the tube amp, pulled the speaker out, and double checked all my wiring. And sure enough, I had the polarity wrong. You know, the positive and the negatives were all wrong. And that's when I thought, oh, okay. No wonder it didn't sound quite right. So I, rewired it and then tried it again and was pleasantly surprised. Let's take a listen to it. All right. Now here, I'm just going to play through. I have to have a disclaimer that I have another Super Champ and it's running a tiny little Vox cabinet just to give it a kind of a stereo sound. But you can mostly hear this cabinet with these stock speakers. Let's take a listen to it. I've got a loop, in fact, that I was using, just to test it out. So here it is. Wow. Pretty cool. Pretty good. Test the low end. I actually recorded a low end, kind of a bass sound. Wow! There's that 212. Okay, so it really sounds good. I mean, look, these are not the greatest figure. By the way, I'm in the process of changing my string, so I'm missing a string here. And I was in the process of changing them before I ever started messing around with the cabinet. But anyway, I just want to give you an idea. Do when I play a 2x12 cabinet, I always play this kind of riff because it's kind of see what kind of low end it has, Boy, that sounds really good, I think. man, for the price, you just can't go wrong. You know. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I've got a pick holder now. Let's put that in there. I have to get back to changing my strings here, but anyway, so in that sense, I'm really, really pleased. Of course, you know, it may sound better, you know, with, you know, Cannabis Rec speaker or Vintage 30 or whatever, V30. You know, and it's something you can always change, you know. But as it is, you know, and for the price, I'm very, very pleased, and it's actually usable as it is, you know. You know, I have just no real complaints about the sound, you know. Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, you know, they're not the greatest speakers in the world or anything, but perfectly usable, you know, and pleasant sounding too. And on top of that, the cabinet, you know, cleaned up pretty well and leaves open a lot of possibilities. Now, what I'm very pleased about is that right away I have a usable cabinet that really doesn't sound bad at all. Can it be improved? Probably. You know, of course, I'm sure. But as it is, I'm perfectly happy playing with it, you know. The high end doesn't sound too, you know, brittle or that kind of thing, you know, or it's not farting out all over the place like the little Fender X2 stock speakers, you know. So it's definitely better than that, you know. Like I said, you know, it's not the greatest speakers in the world. Perfectly usable, though. I mean, I'm very, very pleased, and can get quite loud and quite a big, big sound. So I'm really pleased that way. Now, here's kind of the fun part. One thing that could be done would be to replace the grill cloth, you know, totally. So you can buy replacement grill cloth, you know, that's one thing that could be done. Another thing is, because I took that kind of piping that was on there, that was all broken, you know, made it kind of look ratty because it was, you know, broken, those kinds of things. So I just completely removed it. Looks a lot better. However, it'd be really cool to replace the piping there. And for those who don't know, the piping is kind of the white line that goes around some speaker cabinets. That white piping there, it goes all the way around. And same thing on the Marshall cab right there, you know, goes all the way around. Alright. So that's purely cosmetic, you know. But that would look nice. And this is sappy, you know. I think it'd be fun to just to try it, but I mean, it'd be kind of sappy. What if we took some of that LED tape light, you know, that I really love that stuff, right? And you could mount it around the grill cloth. Wow! Right? Now, the only downfall is you'd kind of have to plug in your speaker cabinet into an AC outlet, right? To give it some power, you know. But it would look cool. I bet it would. I don't know. I haven't tried that. Another thing is, of course, it's missing the Fender logo. Well, you can't have that. Right? That's bad. So, you know, I don't know if I'll do that, but you can order a Fender replacement logo. You know, I bet it would look cool too. Now, here's the thing. You know, this is definitely a cabinet worth keeping, and I never thought it would be, really. I mean, listen, this was just something fun, you know, that I just ran across. I thought, oh, that's kind of fun. See what I can do with it. Never expecting that it's actually much, much, much better than I imagined. You know, what's great about it is that I can use it, you know, and maybe down the road I can replace the speakers if I want to, you know. Who knows? I mean, these seem okay. You know. Yeah, just, I mean, I could absolutely record with it, play with it, and so on and so on. Pretty nice. Now, here's the thing. The grill cloth, okay? It's a little rough. It's got a hole in it. But, you know, another thing you could do is kind of cover up that hole. You know, it's kind of round. It's kind of the size of a quarter. So who knows? Maybe you could patch it or find something to cover it up. You know, I don't know. Yeah, no, it's kind of big. Okay. It's a little bigger than a quarter, I have to say. You know. But again, cosmetic, you know. Now, there's also a secret, and that is that the speaker, one of the speakers on the bottom, has basically kind of a hole in it. And just by luck, it's on the very, very far edge of it. And so, no adverse effects up to this point. Now, will that continue? I don't know. You know, if I play on it, you know, over time, who knows? Anyway, these are things that you could do. You could add casters if you wanted to. You know, however, it's pretty light, really. So I mean, just you can move it around. And I kind of cheated. Okay, I put it on the floor just to get a little bit more bass, and it just sounds better, you know. Anyway, I'm very, very pleased. It's a great deal. Who knows? We'll see where this goes. You know, or I just might leave it the way it is, you know. Cleaned up like that, it looks pretty good, really. You know. Obviously it doesn't look new, or what have you, you know. Anyway, it'd be something to try. Now, from what I hear, though, I hear that this replacing the grill cloth is kind of a pain in the butt because you've got to stretch it, you know, and it has to be straight. It can't be, you know, wavy all around. You know, I don't know. Those are all little things. Anyway, very, very pleased. And for the price, I mean, you just cannot go wrong. You know, considering a decent 2x12 cabinet, you know, is minimum $400 or $500. And goes up from there. I mean, they go up $1,000 or more, even. You know. So, in that sense, very pleased as well. So there you go. And I mean, it really, yeah, it sounds really good, I think. What I really like is the fact that the speakers aren't farting out. You know, that's kind of where I draw the line as far as speakers go. You know, if they're distorting, especially in the high end, or, you know, farting out on the low end, you know, where it's distorting and that kind of thing. You know, also means you can't really turn them up and that kind of thing. You know, and that's not the case here at all, you know. So very cool, very, wow. I'm quite pleased, you know. Oh, by the way, did I mention that since I was getting the cabinet, he also gave me a PB PA speaker. And it has a horn in it, but it's missing the 15-inch speaker. You know, however, I believe I know someone who just proposed some Eminence PA speakers to me, so who knows, maybe I'll mess with that. But I said, yeah, sure, it's free. Why not? You know, so there you go. So that's where it stands now. You know, if there are any alterations to it, we'll definitely do a part 2. Alright, very good. See you next time. Bye.